What's going on, everyone? This is the Loyal BBN Fan Show. I'm your host, Mike, here with my man, Jimmy. Look, today, Jimmy, I'm representing the Navy after the Navy goes and blows out the Army. Come on, baby. This is for all my Navy guys out there, my shipmates, my son. Go Navy, baby. Navy, the Army thought because they was 10-1 coming in there that they was gonna. Oh, actually, they was 10 and they was actually 11-1 coming into that ball game. So the Navy gave them the second loss of the year. The Army's down, Navy's up. Let's go, baby. I'm representing for my midshipmen today. But we're here to talk about the Wildcats today, Jimmy. So what's up, man?
Hey, I'm just glad to be here, and thanks for having me.
Thanks, absolutely. So our Wildcats right now, man, we're 10-1 right now. 10-1, man. Can you? And that all just sounds so exciting to say that. But are we a team ready to really make some noise as we finish up our last two non-conference games with Ohio State and Brown? Are we a team that's ready to compete in the SEC this year?
Well, we have to take care of Ohio State and the Brown game first.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
there's a lot of things that Pope's going to work on. I know that we need a little bit better defense.
Okay.
It's a little bit hard when you're playing against, other teams like Colgate and different things. But when we played the Louisville game, I thought our defense was not as good, but we did stop them towards the end of the game.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, in the video that I did earlier today, that I posted today, one thing that I mentioned is that the defense might not be what everybody really thinks our defense should be, but we always tend to get that stop when we need it. When that team is about to maybe take the momentum away from us and flip the game, our Wildcats are doing just enough on the defensive side of the ball that just draws it back in and just kind of. And then what do after we have that strong defensive stop? We go on a run, and it happens. Seems like it happens every single ball game. So while we don't always have the best defense, one thing that people can't deny is that when it comes down and when it matters the most, Kentucky finds a way to get that stop.
Well, exactly with the offense coming off of our decent defensive stops. We are averaging right now 91, maybe 92 points a game after we played Louisville and put up 93 there.
Yes.
But our defense, when we do get the stops, we're going to score and we're going to have offensive plays. We're going to have an assist. We're going to have maybe a rebound off of a offensive play. We're going to make the stops. We're going to make the buckets to get into that situation where we do not have to worry about that. Let's not be down like 3 or 4 points. We're going to be up 6, 8 points.
Absolutely. I mean, and looking at the, not the, looking ahead of the UK game against Ohio State this weekend. I mean, Kentucky's #1 in the country in scoring. So,
Yes.
So is it safe to say that maybe even though we don't have the best defense, that we do just enough to get those stops, but then teams have got to find a way to learn to outscore us?
Well, if you look at last year's, we did almost lead the nation in scoring last year, but we was not a good defensive team.
No.
This year, I believe that we are a way better defensive team, and we're still leading the nation in scoring. So right now, I believe Pope has got the good game plan for us to be on the floor, win these possessions, and then all of a sudden we're going to make baskets at the other end of the court.
And that, and we have found a way at the end of ball games to make those baskets, but it all came from the defense. Now, something that I asked a question. I did a poll on Facebook. I know a lot of people, really don't really use Facebook like they used to, but right now I got a poll going. Right now is the question is, what, if anything, concerns you the most about your team going forward? Which, speaking of the Wildcats, one option is defense. the other option is free throws, and the other option is other. So right now, more people. It's not a big disparity, but more people right now are more worried about defense. But our defense is kind of lack. I mean, not our defense, but our free throws. I mean, I was just like I could not believe just how bad we shot from the free throw line against Louisville. Like it seemed like in Butler, who had a spectacular night. He couldn't. He could hardly even make a free throw. So we gonna give you the hard shots, Butler. But when we send you to the line, we know you'll miss. So it was look. If Louisville was smart, they just would have fouled Butler the whole ball game because he couldn't hardly hit a free throw.
Well, the one thing with that, I know he missed 5 free throws,
Yeah.
and that is not good when you're shooting. He was 10 for 10 and 6 for 6. I hate that for him, but he did say after the game, he said that is something that he actually needs to improve on. Needs
Yeah.
to get into the gym and work on that. With our defense, I believe that is the key. We just need to actually get back into the film room and watch what we have not gotten done on the defensive end, and Pope is going to pour it out with all the different things that he illustrates on that board of what them players needs to do. He's going to be right there, and he's going to tell them, "Hey, let's get this done. If we make free throws, we're going to be fine." We made almost every free throw against Gonzaga.
we that was and look that with free throws wins ball games because when I tell you we did good against Gonzaga. Now we had some cushion against Louisville, but you know what I'm saying. But when it comes to what did we do for free throw? We went 18. We missed 10 free throws that night. We went 18 for 28 that night. So against Gonzaga, that would have lost us the game in regular. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
you talking about and look the Gonzaga game. That's not going to be the only game this year that is going to come down to whether or not we hit our free throws or not. And those are, as people would say, man, that's free pickings. Go get your points. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, we've got Alabama, we've got Auburn, we've got a lot of Tennessee. We've got a lot of teams. If we do not hit free throws, we could lose that game by 1 or 2 points. If we win them, make the free throws, we're going to win by 1 or 2 points.
yep.
There's going to be a lot of games in the SEC against Tennessee, Alabama, Auburn, even like the teams against Florida. We're going to have a battle all year long with all these teams. The SEC is not got the record they have right now for being a weak team.
Oh man, it's the SEC this year is not messing around, man. We are. I don't have the record. I don't have the overall record this year for wins and losses for SEC as a total. But I have to imagine that the SEC is blowing out college basketball by a lot because teams like Missouri, Ole Miss, like these teams are really playing strong basketball. South Carolina's playing decent. Georgia's playing decent. So not to get ahead and not to overlook Ohio State and not to overlook Brown, but our ultimate goal is let's get past these 2 games. Let's get these W's. But let's be real. Everyone's really excited about seeing who we are when it comes to SEC. Now, if the SEC wasn't that strong, maybe it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But the SEC is super strong this year. And I think that's what's drawn a lot of people is can we get these non-conference games over with? And can we see who we really are within our own league?
Hey, what a tough year Mark Pope has to come in and see the SEC being this strong.
Oh,
Probably one of the best SEC conference that we've had in maybe 15, 20 years, or maybe the best ever. But with him having to come in and come against this, and him being 10-1 now,
yeah.
could end up winning the next 2 games, be 12-1, and go into the SEC playing Florida the first game at Rupp Arena. This is one of the greatest things that we could ever have in college basketball because he didn't think this was going to happen, but it has happened and he has got it going on and he is going to win a lot of these games. It's going to be a lot better than you really expect.
And you know, I often wonder how much pressure is on Mark Pope right now. Considering we're 10-1, we already got two top 10 wins in Duke and Gonzaga. What kind of pressure do you think? Maybe just from the fan base, or just from Kentucky being Kentucky. How much pressure do you really think Mark Pope is under right now? Do you think people are starting to say, I really believe in this guy? And it's like now it's like, okay, maybe we are a better than maybe just an Elite Eight. Maybe we are a team that can look at maybe the Final Four already. Of course, not getting ahead. We still got a lot of basketball, and of course, the SEC is that's a gauntlet, as my man Brian Carter says. But
Yeah.
what kind of pressure is Mark Pope under?
Well, right now it's his first year. He has done remarkable. And he gets two more wins. He's 12-1 going into the SEC. We got Florida at home the first game, and that is like 11 o'clock game our time. I don't understand why that is. Maybe some bowl games or something is on that day, but it's like I saw a little thing what his wife put on there, and she was talking about there was two moles in the backyard that he needed to take care of. He took care of one of them the other night against Louisville.
Well, well, I guess I think we safely know who the second one is.
I believe you know who the second one
I
is.
believe we know who the second one is, and so I think that's also a critical game. See, being here at Kentucky, us fans, we love Kentucky so much that we try to stay in the moment. The moment means who's our next opponent. We try to stay within that moment. But let's be real. Here at Kentucky, we don't just stay in the moment. We already looking down the road. We're ready to face Alabama. We're ready to face Tennessee. We're ready to face Auburn. Like all of this, we're so excited and so pumped up about it that we try to stay humble. We try to stay within the moment. We know that we got Ohio State and we know we got Brown. But come on. We Kentucky fans. You know what we looking at.
I know, and I'm looking for some of those games down the road. I've already looked at the schedules so many times. It's
Yeah.
like it's imprinted in the back of my head. I know what we're going to be playing against, and it's going to be hard competition. But this is a team, I believe, they are older, they are veterans, they know how it is for us to go to another opponent's arena and let's win some games.
Yeah.
Even when it comes back to Rupp Arena, we're going to say, hey, this is our home turf. We are not losing at home. It could be a couple losses here, a couple losses there, but we are going to fight all the way to the end. And that's exactly how Kentucky basketball has been and will be from now on.
You know what? For me, I take losing at Rupp Arena personal, and I know most UK fans do too as well. It would be awesome. I mean, it would be awesome to go undefeated at home this year in year one with Coach Pope and not lose a game. Come on, Coach Pope. Your first year, and you understand what it means to play at Rupp Arena. You understand what it means to win. You know what it means to protect the home court here at Kentucky, and that's exactly what you're doing. Dude, I would just be as they say, as the older folks said, man, I'd just be tickled to death.
Hey, I would be, way tickled to death on that one because I know we got Tennessee, we've got Alabama, we've got Auburn, all the other SEC teams that's coming in. They are going to be right here in Rupp Arena trying to make it their Super Bowl.
And it's that game in and game out. And I let's go look. let's go beat Ohio State first, okay?
That's exactly what we
You
need
know,
to do. Right
yeah,
now,
yeah,
we got Ohio State on Saturday, and
yeah.
then Colgate a little bit after that. So, yeah, let's just calm down. Let's get this win against Ohio State at Madison Square Garden. It's going to be packed with Kentucky fans. It is going to be a great environment just to watch that game because there's a game, I believe, before us. I don't know what time our game is, but it's going to be a great atmosphere, and Kentucky is going to be there with a lot of fan support. It's going to be real fun to watch.
So, do you think it's any pressure? Considering how bad Auburn beat Ohio State, is there? Do you think our Wildcats will feel any pressure in the terms of they almost lost by 40 points? I think it was almost 40 points or something like that. Somebody can correct me. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but they beat them pretty bad. Do you think it's going to be any pressure from my guys to feel like that we don't have to beat them by 40? But do you think we might feel any pressure that we got to go out and beat Ohio State, say by 15 or 20 points, just to say that we got that we are a seriously a legit team in the SEC? Or if we lose by 5 points, is that something to be concerned about, knowing that we still got to play teams like Auburn and Tennessee and all these guys?
No, I think our players they know they just need to win the game. I
Okay.
don't think that they was looking at the Auburn game against Ohio State. I believe they are looking to say, "Hey, we just need to win this game, move on,"
Okay.
because that Ohio State win is not any one quad two win, even
Yeah.
if we do get that win. So, Auburn, they got that big win, but it really didn't make Auburn look any better. That's just what they should have done at that time in the moment.
Auburn killed those guys.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Auburn beat the brakes off of Ohio
Well, it
State.
could have been just one of them games that
Yeah.
Ohio State didn't have nothing, and Auburn was just full throttle, and it was just a great game for them. And I know that they're going to have a lot of good games, Auburn is.
Absolutely. But you know what though? As you just mentioned, and everyone knows, when teams play Kentucky, they play different. They play different. So I don't expect this Ohio State game to be any different. They didn't play good against Auburn. They know that. But for some reason, when they play Kentucky, it's just different. If you lose, you know what I'm saying? If you beat Auburn, oh, you did good. But if you beat Kentucky, Ohio State knocked off Kentucky. Ooh, it's that type of reaction when any teams beat Kentucky. More so when you beat Auburn or something like that. So it's I don't. Is it fair to Kentucky, the new guys that's playing there, that every team that they play it has this like his bullseye on them and says this is the game that we really want to win? It is what it is. This is what you signed up for, and this is why you came to Kentucky for this type of atmosphere. That's for sure.
Yes. And the thing is, a lot of these players have played at smaller schools. They never had bullseyes on their backs. But a lot of these players now are stepping up. They know exactly what a bullseye is on their back. They
Yeah.
played against Gonzaga. They played against Duke. They played against Clemson. They played against Louisville now. They know all these teams are coming after them. And the thing is, a lot of these teams, like you said, that's bullseye what they put on Kentucky. Look at Clemson. They played Memphis the other night at home and lost in overtime because they made it to Kentucky was their biggest game of the season.
Dude, that was huge, and people just play different. It's just something about when Kentucky goes to the opponent's gyms, and everyone in the country know it. Every BBN fan knows
Yep.
just that. That we have to expect that every time we go on the road. No matter where we're playing at, no matter how small the arena is, we can be going to Ole Miss, we could be going to Louisville. It doesn't matter where Kentucky goes at. Kentucky is always people's primetime game, and that's one game on their schedule that if they can beat Kentucky, that it kind of softens when they start taking a lot of losses because they'll be able to look back and says, well, we beat Kentucky.
Yes, and I know it's hard for these kids that is not being here at Kentucky, but they came here to wear that Kentucky, jersey, and they're ready for every opportunity just to pounce on everything that they can get when they get into these ball games. They are going to be ready, and it's going to be where Hope is going to be on the sidelines coaching, going crazy, and they'll be like, "Calm down, coach. We've got
We
this."
got this, yeah. And that's as I said before, that's a reflection of the coach too as well. You can see
Yes,
the calm demeanor of the coach. You can see that he's not running up and down the sideline screaming all this kind of stuff, and he's calm. His players look over the storm. My coach is not in a storm, so why am I in the storm for? My coach believes that we got this, so I need to believe that we got that, and that just makes a big difference. Another thing about the Wildcats that I'm really liking here lately is we're starting to see Jackson Robinson really come alive now. He's becoming a player that we thought was coming here when he decided not to go pro, and we're starting to see him becoming more of a scorer, which that is extremely positive for Kentucky because when you add him into the mix along with what Andrew Carr is doing, who people didn't really give a he's probably not going to be a big time scorer for Kentucky, all this kind of stuff, but he's turning to be really a solid player for Kentucky. And some of them games we don't win unless Andrew Carr goes off and he does what he's been doing in these games. So the right players, and then you got like 𝐀𝐫𝐭𝐒𝐜𝐞𝐳 who stays within the game plan. He usually before he was coming out getting our first our first 3 or 4 baskets scoring. He hasn't did that the last couple of games, but when it matters the most, 𝐀𝐫𝐭𝐒𝐜's always somewhere in the mix, getting a basket, getting to the free throw line, making his free throws, jumping the lanes, getting steals, going down, giving monster dunks, erupting the crowd, getting the players' energies back into it. So it's like every single ball game, everyone seems to be staying within the game plan. And then when your number is called in the sense of, hey, this is my opportunity, I got to get a stop, I got to help my team, somebody's always stepping up to the plate that wasn't necessarily having a very good game, but when the time calls for it, they're always right there to help the team get that W. And that's so encouraging of this team this year.
exactly. And this time last year, there was maybe 1 or 2 players that I was like real excited just to see them play. Now, with this team, there is like 7, 8, 9 players that I'm excited to see every game if they get on the court. 𝐀𝐫𝐭𝐒𝐜𝐞𝐳 is one of my favorites. I
Yeah,
love the way he starts. I love the way he finishes. Like you said, Jackson Robinson is just balling out right now.
he is.
He is one of the players that Hope knew when he brought to Kentucky he was going to bring it, and it might have took a little bit of time, but right now he is doing the greatest thing that Hope wants him to do is be a leader, be there in the huddles, be there on the sidelines, cheer on the team, and he is leading the team. But we do not have to have one player that is going to score just like the other night. Lamont Butler had 33, but we can have a player that's going to score 31 the next game, and it might not even be Lamont Butler, and he might only have 8 points.
And you know what? I don't think anybody really expected him to come out and have 33 points against Louisville. It was just one of those situations where he was in a zone, and it's
Yes.
good because it's even his players recognized that, and they was like, hey, just get him the ball. He can't miss. Just don't get fouled and go to the foul line.
Yeah.
Just don't do that. So another thing, something else that worries me too is our rebounding. I like what Bryant says when he's on the show with me, and one thing he always talks about is, can our bigs get about 20 to 23 rebounds between the two of them combined every ball game? And he said if they can do that, then we can compete in the SEC. But when one of them's having 8 rebounds and the other one's having 4 rebounds, and between the two bigs, we only getting 12 rebounds, and when you got Brome from Auburn getting 20 plus rebounds, Oscar's numbers, that's something that is concerning. That we gotta crash the board, and that we gotta do better with rebounds. You can't have a guard. Well, if a guard is out rebounding a big man, I feel like that's a problem. That's a good thing to have, that when you have a guard that will rebound, but when you have a guard who's out rebounding one of our big men, then I think it's something is broken there and something needs to be fixed.
With what I'm thinking is a lot of these teams like Auburn and Alabama and Tennessee, they are playing a different type of offense, and they do get a lot more rebounds off of offense
Yeah,
because Kentucky takes a lot of shots that it's a long shot coming off the rim. We might not get a lot of those, but we are still competing enough to where I don't think the rebounding is going to hurt us all the way through the whole NCAA tournament, SEC tournament, NCAA tournament. But I believe we still need to worry about a little bit of that. But I believe Mark Hope has a game plan for that. I believe these players are going to ball out. They're gonna get their boards when they need them.
absolutely. And even though those guys are not rebounding like we think they should be, and one thing that I saw last ball game, especially from a lot of comments from the fans, where's our defense at? Where's our defense at? Are we even playing defense tonight? Are we even? I heard someone says we're just letting Louisville shoot threes on purpose because they're not really that good, but they hit 14 threes against us, and that's how they stayed close in the ball game. It's because they got hot. So that's something that we definitely gonna have to work on too as well is making sure that we're not just giving up so many threes a ball game. And I guess teams say that about Kentucky too as well. So I guess touche. But if we can control the boards more, and if those guys can come in and give you more rebounds, they can complement the guards rebounding too as well. I mean, that's just another strong avenue of a way. I mean, because we gotta eliminate some of these second chance. Because the Louisville was getting 2, 3, 4 chances on like one possession, just to just to score the basketball. And some of those times on like the third attempt, they was hurting us by getting threes. So if we can get those long rebounds, which I understand that it could be hard at times, but if we can find a way to get those hard rebounds, I think that Kentucky's going to be okay. That's for sure.
Yeah, I believe we'll be okay with the rebounding factor. There might be some game. I mean, we did out rebound Louisville by like I think it was around like uh, 20 rebounds.
Let me see. What did we box score? What did we get right here? Rebounds. What is the rebounds at? We out rebounded them by 10 rebounds. We had
10 okay.
We had 41. They had 31. Yeah. It's
Okay,
yeah.
but I believe it looked a little bit more of that. Louisville beat us on the boards, but it really wasn't that, we won by 10. But against Auburn, Tennessee, Alabama, we're going to have to really rebound the ball and control it, not let them get 2 or 3 rebounds per possession.
Absolutely. I agree with that, Will, too. But I'll tell you one thing before we get out of here. One thing for sure is I love watching this team play. And, you get excited. You don't necessarily, just as a natural reaction, you have butterflies no matter who you're playing in a sense. You know what I'm saying? You have those few butterflies. But as far as going in and wondering, oh, my goodness, do we really have a chance to really win this ball game? Or, is this going to be another loss? Or, I think that has been removed from the picture, and it's just excitement about watching these guys play. And you know that they're not going to be perfect, and you know that they're going to take some hits on the chin, but you go into each ball game really believing that you really have a really good chance to winning these ball games. The same way with Duke, the same way with Gonzaga, the same way playing Louisville. Even though Louisville was a decent team coming in as well too, and I think those guys are going to get better the rest of the year. But you definitely, as a fan, you come in and you don't have the big major butterflies. Is, are we going to get beat? And how bad are we going to get beat by? You actually very optimistic about the team and about the chances of winning a ball game. So that's the fun part about this year.
Yes, I mean, this is the first year in the last probably 5, 6 years I was excited to see this team play, and every game has just made me more excited watching the next game. And when we do put a good game together, and I know, that Duke game, it propelled us.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we got keep going on. We did lose the Clemson game, but then we come back and we knock Gonzaga off the pole there to
Yeah.
get a little bit higher rankings. And then we just keep on winning. So this is a great year. I'm excited. All the fans I know are so excited. When you watch the pregame shows, postgame shows at Rupp Arena, there is fans everywhere watching
Everywhere.
this team.
And you know and that's what we've been missing, and we just feel like as a fan base, basketball is back in Kentucky, and you could tell it. You can tell it by the commentators. You can tell it by people talking about Kentucky. You can just see that basketball is fun. Overall, basketball is fun when Kentucky's good, because Kentucky is who they are, and when we can be good, it makes college basketball very interesting.
Hey, Kentucky turns the needle.
Kentucky turns the needle. Kentucky.
You know that, yeah.
Kentucky
We bring
bring.
it in. If you're gonna watch a game, you want to watch Kentucky.
Absolutely, and people are watching. You got the first year coach. You got people who everybody's watching Kentucky because
Yeah.
people want to see what is Kentucky doing now, and is Kentucky back, and is this a team that we need to be worried about moving down down the road? And we are. And Mark Pope got us on that road to success, and we're gonna continue building on this, and that's the excitement about this team. So let's go Cats, man. Jimmy, thank you so much, man, for joining me on this episode of just look, man. We're just talking about Kentucky, man, because this is what we love to do, and we're just we're super excited about what the Cats are doing and the future of where the program is going.
Well, hopefully here pretty soon I'll have some recruiting news.
Okay.
It's getting a little bit closer, but yeah, we'll have a show here pretty soon about recruits, and I got a couple things that's going to go on with that. So
All right.
we'll make that for another show.
Absolutely, Jimmy. I appreciate your time today, man. Hey, man, if you haven't already, man, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit the like button of this video. I really would appreciate it. Tell your friends and family about it. Your likes, your subscribes means a lot to the program and everything. So until next time, man, Cats, let's keep winning and go Cats.
Go Cats!